If you're a lineman in charge of keeping the lights on, Grainger understands that you go to great lengths and sometimes heights to ensure the power is always flowing, which is why you can count on Grainger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so you have everything you need to get the job done. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Women of Golf Show. I'm Ted Odorico, and right alongside is LPGA Professional Legend Tour player Cindy Miller, and we are the hosts of the Women of Golf Show. Good morning, Cindy.
Good morning, Ted.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great up here in Buffalo. It's like it's spring.
Yeah, it seems to be going back and forth, doesn't it?
It does.
Let me, before we start, Cindy, let me just really very quickly tell everybody about the show for those tuning in for the first time. We are live on blogtalkradio.com from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the quickest way to find us, go to blogtalkradio.com. Up in the search key, type Women of Golf, and that will bring you to the main page. And as I said, we are live every Tuesday mornings from 9 to 10 Eastern. And if you're not able to join us live, just go to the link, blogtalkradio.com/Women of Golf. On-demand section and catch us there anytime when it's convenient for you. But we appreciate you, for those of you tuning in live this morning. Also, you can go to iTunes.com and under the podcast section, equally type in Women of Golf, and that will take you there in the iTunes.com library as well. But we're glad to be here. We've got a great show. We're going to have a little bit of a recap. I unfortunately didn't get a chance due to personal reasons to go to the PGA merchandising show in Orlando this year, but Cindy, of course, was down there. She's got a few things to talk about, and we'll just see what's new and exciting coming out. And then also, we're going to remind you of Cindy's boot camps coming up here. I think one of them is coming up here in just a week or two away. And then also, we'll just remind everybody about the Own Your Game series on the mental side of the game that Cindy's going to be bringing here very shortly, I believe this month. We'll get a recap on that as well. And then later on, a good friend of ours who's been on the show many, many times, Jane Blalock, the president and CEO of the Legends Tour, who's going to be coming on and giving us an update on what's happening exciting for 2016 on the Legends Tour. And then also we want to get an update on the U.S. Women's Senior Open that was originally, I believe, scheduled for this year, and it's now been moved back to next year. So we'll find out what's happening with that as well. But Cindy, again, welcome this morning, and happy Groundhog's Day.
Oh, yeah. What happened?
I don't know. Actually, I haven't seen it yet. I'm sure considering it was a late winter, I'm sure there'll be a few more weeks yet, but I haven't heard what the latest is, so I'll find out after the show. But anyways, happy Groundhog's Day, and hopefully the winter will clear by. And you said it's almost like spring up in Buffalo this morning.
Yeah, it was like 55 the other day.
Yeah, and now did you get, just real quick, and I don't want to belabor the point, but that storm that just recently passed through in the recent weeks up to the northeast, did you guys get a lot in Buffalo?
We did not. We did not get anything.
Wow, that's unusual.
We're far enough, we were far enough west that we didn't get anything.
Well, lucky for you.
In fact, somebody posted something on Facebook that said, when Buffalo gets 2 feet of snow, we call it Tuesday.
Well, it is Tuesday, and hopefully you won't get 2 feet of snow today.
Exactly.
Cindy, as I mentioned in the opening remarks, that unfortunately, and I won't get into it, but I wasn't able to make it down this year, and it was a sort of a last-minute cancellation to the merchandising show. But I know you were down there. I saw lots of posts and lots of good memories, I'm sure, with some reacquaintance with friends that you have in the golf industry. But I just want to talk about a few things. I know you didn't get around to see everything, but maybe a few highlights we can talk about. First thing, I know you went to the demo day. Tell us a little bit about what goes on at the demo days for those that maybe aren't familiar with it, and maybe some things that you saw there.
Well, demo day is held at Orange County National Golf Club, and that's in Orlando, and that's where we hold our boot camps as well. And they have the most unique driving range. It is circular, 360 degrees, and I don't know how many yards across, but big enough that anybody that hits it really far can't hit it across the driving range, so more than 300 yards. The whole driving range is taken up with booths, tents, stands, displays of anybody that would want to be outside at a demo day. So every golf club company, Callaway, Titleist, TaylorMade, Ben Hogan, Wilson, everybody, Nike. And they bring in their superstars. So Bubba Watson was there, Annika was there giving a clinic, Greg Norman was there, all kinds of superstars were there to lure, the public, if you will, and the PGA professionals and the LPGA professionals into their booth to see their new product.
Right.
It's a feast for those in the golf. So even if you're an amateur, there's so many people that want to go to the PGA merchandise show because it's just everything and anything to do with golf. So that's what the demo day is, and it's really awesome to go.
And it's kind of like a buffet of golf, if you will, as at the merchandising show. You can literally, you can literally stuff yourself full of everything and anything that's there. Now, again, I know obviously because it is such a big display there at the range. Did you get a chance to stop in at a few of the demonstrations, and what sort of caught your eye, if anything?
Well, a couple things. There was a new company. It's called New Tent, PNEU, and I have always looked for a portable tent that I could teach under. Right. That was big enough with a high enough roof that I could be protected from the sun. Believe it or not, the sun does shine in Buffalo in the summer. Right. Protected from the sun and the snow and the rain. And I found one that is affordable, that's 40 or 50 pounds that you can blow up, and the air pump comes with it. So that was kind of cool. I walked by quite a few places. Body Track, Terry Hashimoto and Body Track were there. They now have a portable iPad, I guess, hookup, if you will, with the iPad and the iPhone for Body Track via V1 branded academies, which is great, so that you don't have to have your big computer with you. And so I went and listened to Terry's spiel and watched to see what that was, because I do have the new Body Track mat, and I'm going to connect it to the iPad so we can do it anywhere easily. Go ahead.
Now, is this like obviously like a wireless remote idea then? Like you have to actually connect your iPad, do you, or does it work through like a wireless connection so you can actually move around a little bit if needed, or how does it work?
Yes, and you can do it with your phone, with V1. You can see your trace. You can see your golf swing, so you're using the camera on your phone or your iPad and using the Body Track pressure mat, which is awesome. Now, have I connected it all yet? No, I just got home and But that's Alan's job. Alan's my technical guy. He reads directions. I don't like to read directions. Yeah. So that was great. And Scotty Hamilton, who teaches a lot of tour players, and Mark Blackburn, and all the big guru teacher guys who teach all the tour players were there as well, which was kind of cool to see. I teach normal people, which there's a lot more normal people than there are tour players.
Right.
But the value of Body Track is for everyone, and I think that the biggest value might be in helping kids, because kids have a tendency to come off their feet and swing on their toes. So I'm looking forward to using this. Yeah, I went and stopped by the Golf Pride booth, and I saw there's a couple of new grips they came out with, and Dee Dee Lasker is a former tour player that I played against in college, and I'm looking forward to try the new Golf Pride grips. And
yeah,
what else?
Yeah, a lot of great products. Let's move on to the show real quick, because I know you had a lot of things in your plate, so I know it probably didn't get a chance to hit everything at the show. But were there anything new and interesting that you had never seen before at the show this year?
No.
All right.
No, there wasn't. There's, new and improved. Encore
Right.
Golf, the golf ball company for Buffalo, has a new ball that's less compression, that's supposed to go better and straighter and a little further. Callaway's got some new irons that are supposed to be amazing. Their ball is supposed to be better than it was before.
Right.
But there was one little gadget two things that I bought. This swing clicker thing that helps you with your tempo. I don't even know what it's called, but I bought 10 of them because I tend to be quick from the top. And you put it on your arm, and when you swing back, it has to click when you finish a backswing, which you have to wait for it to click, which feels like you could take a nap while you're up there for somebody that swings quick like me. And I thought, well, this would be great to teach me tempo and my students tempo, so I bought a bunch of those. And the second thing was the focus band. Now, I have not, again, opened this product up, but when I first saw it 5 years ago, the focus band was like $5,000. And it's now going to be able to connect with Flight Scope, which we own, and it was $500. So $5,000 to $500. Yeah, it's like way different. And Opti International with the Opti Brain, with Debbie Cruz. Did we have her on?
I don't think we have. I don't recall. I mean, we've done quite a few.
I need to get her on because she's awesome.
Yeah, that would be a good. Let's do that.
She's got another brain training thing which tries to get you to be balanced. Believe it or not, my brain was balanced when we trained with her. Yeah, that's a shock.
Well, that's good. Hey, let me just interject here because I want to mention something before I forget. You were talking about the Encore golf ball, and it's very interesting that you mentioned that first because I'm been working with a gentleman here recently. He actually manufactures, and I'm going to talk to you more privately about that at a later time. But he builds custom putters up in the Michigan area, and one of his associates, that's also a PGA professional, was down at the PGA show this year and met with the people at Encore, and he actually has been doing some testing, doing putts and so forth with Encore's new golf ball. And the interesting thing was that it obviously is very good because he tested it against all of the major brands, and he said hands down Encore beat them all in just the feel of it. Yeah, he said it was and he went against Titleist, Nike, TaylorMade, anybody that makes a golf ball. He tested them, and he's pretty stringent in his tests. And he said Encore came out on top, which was very interesting. So
I wonder why.
I don't know, and I'll find out from him, and maybe we can even get Encore back on here and talk about that. And I'm sure they would love to hear that feedback. So maybe work as well. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, because we had her on a few weeks ago, just before the show, was Bobby Salmon, of course, LPGA professional Bobby Salmon, who came out with an interesting product, the Steady Head. Did you get a chance to make it over to her booth at all?
I didn't, but I ordered 6 Steady Heads before, right as soon as we had her on the show, and I got them before we left.
Oh, okay.
And I have tried it, and you know what? It really does work. And it's great for, I teach a little girl who's 7 who's really good, and she has issues with moving her head. Right. And looking down the line, I think it verifies where your eyes are going to see the line. And are you looking left? Are you looking right? Are you looking down the line? So you can train your head to move the correct way so that you can see the line that your intended target line, I guess is what you would say.
Right. Very, very interesting. And I know that there's a lot of things. there's so many products down there, and it's really hard to do them all justice, and it would take you days, if not weeks, just to go through them all. But usually they do have a few new things down there. But again, a lot of them.
Well, I'm sure they did. The catch is that when you're there, you sign up for educational events.
Right.
So I had a couple things that I needed to go to. I went to the V1 Branded Academy seminar. I went to the LPGA. Learn how to use the internet with your membership, and then I went to the junior golf seminar. So again, with all the seminars and the meetings you have with people that you need to meet with, it's very hard to find enough time to just walk the show.
Yeah.
And so that's what I found. I had a hard time just snooping by myself.
Now, you also mentioned the LPGA had a whatchamacallit there that you went to, and they talked about girls golf.
The junior golf? Yeah,
yes.
The junior golf seminar. That was great. There are the 5 E's of the girls golf program: empower, engage, exercise. I forget the other ones, but they were good. Educate. Engage. That was the one I was at. But anyway, they did a great job firing us up, and there's now 200,000 girls in girls golf.
That's great. Now,
did
you get a chance?
Awesome.
Yeah, did you get a chance when you were at the show to? I mean, I know that they had a section there, and I know there's some stuff scattered, but they do usually have, from what I remember when I was there the previous year, that they had a section where they had a lot of women who had businesses that were really targeting women's golf. Did you get a chance to make it in that section at all? Do you know what I'm talking about? Sort of usually it's around about the center of the show floor. I know that they had a lot of great products there the year I was there. Did you get a chance to snoop through any of that area at all, or no?
I don't even know that they have that area. Well, maybe I saw a lot of new clothing lines that I had never seen before, but I don't know that, most of the clothing was for women.
Right.
And it was beautiful stuff. But I don't know that they have a specific section for women golfers.
Well, they had when I was there too, and I thought when I was looking at the floor plan for this year, I thought they had. Now it might have been just women's apparel that you're referring to. They might have had. I thought I saw something on the diagram for that, but I know when I went there, they had a ton of them. They had it for kids. A lot of women designers that had done some clothes for really targeted at the junior golfers, and then they had some, of course, for more of the adult women and that. But anyways, I know there was a lot of great stuff down at the show, and I really I saw all kinds, including many of yours, posts up on Facebook and other social media. So it looks like you guys had a great time down there this year, and I really regret that I wasn't able to make it, but I'm definitely, come hell or high water, if I have to camp out there 3 days ahead of time, I'm going to be there for next year. But it sounds like it was a great show, a lot of great products and a lot of great networking, and that's really what the PGA show is about as well. It's not just about demonstrating and showing new products; it's about really networking, right?
It is, and we had a great time. There were a lot of people there, and met with a lot of people, and it was just awesome. One other thing, there was a company that makes rubber or plastic shoes, and it's called Bion Wear, and I bought a pair. They're kind of like Crocs, but they come in all different colors. And they were really good looking. And when you mentioned the youth, they have all these tiny little kids' golf shoes. They were just absolutely adorable. And they're from Toronto. So that was kind of cool. That was new and different.
Wow, very cool. Leave it up to my fellow Canadians up in Toronto to come up with something unique like that. As I said, there's a lot of great things, and there's really too much to. It can actually be overwhelming. There just is so much to take in and absorb, and you, like you said, Cindy, you really can't get to everything. Even in a few days, because there's so many other seminars and workshops and things like that going on to participate in. So a lot of times, a lot of the pros don't even get a chance really to to spend as much time walking around the show as they'd like. But a lot of interesting stuff, and I know that some of the revamp, if you will, of some of the technology out there is going to continue to make the game even better. And I know that you probably kept them in business by the sounds of what you bought down there at the show. It sounds like you bought a lot.
I didn't buy as much as I normally buy, but I did buy a few things. Again, you're always looking to get energized and enthused about the new year coming up, and what can
right.
I, investigate to see if there's a value to my students and if it will help their games. And, you got to stay up with the latest and greatest technologies. If you don't, you fall behind. So it was fun.
Now, and that brings an interesting question that I want to ask you, just and then we'll get on to reminding everybody about the boot camps and that. What are you most looking forward to in 2016? What's got you really energized this year as we move forward into the new year?
You know what? It's really the Own Your Game Academy. I've taught golf for 30 years, and the old way of standing on the range and watching someone hit balls and then having them leave and not do what you were working on, I'm tired of it, and so are my students. They get better, but they don't get a lot better. And so
right.
with all the training and, with me trying to get better to play on the Legends Tour, I opened up a can of worms because people like Jane Blalock, Rosie Jones, Nancy Lopez, Patty Sheehan, Kathy Whitworth, those people were stars on the LPGA Tour, and I was not. So I wanted to be, but I wasn't quite good enough. So when I decided to get better, or, open the can of worms, if you will, to say, okay, what's wrong with me? How good can I be? What is my potential? So I needed to be willing to see some things I may not want to see. And given that, I have learned immeasurable things. So not only, who am I? How do I learn? Am I right eye dominant, left eye dominant? Am I linear? Am I nonlinear? Am I audio-visual or kinesthetic? Do I know how to focus? Can I make decisions on my own? Am I self-sufficient? Do I know when to take a risk and not to take a risk? None of that has to do with swinging a golf club. But everything of that, all of those things have something to do with becoming a great player.
Yep.
And a great player at golf and at life. So I think I got frustrated enough with teaching the same old way and got bored that I said, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore the way I've always done it. I want to change the way I do it. So we rolled out a program called the Own Your Game Academy and just advertised it a little bit in Buffalo. We've got 18 people doing this program for 4 months.
Wow.
So we are going to roll this out in the next 2 weeks on our radio show here, and we're going to bring an online version of it in April to anyone who wants to participate online, and we're going to promote it on the radio program. And I'm just really excited about it because it's a lot more fun for me, and I think that the normal person, so tour players realize all that stuff about themselves, but normal golfers don't, and they wonder, why are tour players so much better than me? Well, because they know more about themselves.
Right.
Because they are their only inventory.
And it's interesting, an interesting point that you make, Cindy, and by all means, we're definitely going to roll that out here on the show and give as much promotion as we can, because I think it's a great idea, and congratulations on all your hard work. One of the things that I think the average player out there doesn't understand is they spend so much time trying to perfect their golf swing and not enough time on really playing the game and understanding, sort of the ups and downs that they're going to face. In other words, they're spending all their time on the driving range trying to make their swing look pretty and hit the shots just perfect. And, you do have to spend a certain amount of time and a reasonable amount of time to do that. But if you're spending 90% of your time on the physical part of the game and very little on the mental side of the game, you're never going to get really a whole lot better. You're going to sort of plateau at some point. and you're looking to take them beyond that plateau and have them continually as many of the pros do. And that's what they do. Once they start to feel like they're plateauing, they start to do things to get them to that next level, correct?
Yeah. Well, and it's balance. You need left brain and right brain. You need to know what you're doing, and then you need to allow the creativity to take over and to perform. And
right.
And you have to have a balance. If you don't, you can't be too left brain. The perfect example would be, to watch Keegan or Sergio, how they used to milk the club. What are they doing while they're standing there 14,000 times, milking the club or looking up, and they're thinking too much. You can't think that much. You got to have a balance. So I'm just trying to make people aware that it's more than just a swing.
Well, and I like
and I'm
the fact,
excited about it.
Yeah, and as you should. I think that's a fantastic thing that you and Alan are doing. And I think what makes it really unique, Cindy, is the fact that you're utilizing your own journey that you've done throughout your career as a player, and understanding that the sort of the ups and the downs and the pitfalls that you had to face, and you're now trying to translate that into your teaching academy to help others that may be struggling, even though they may not be playing at the professional level, but they're struggling in their own right through their game, and you're trying to draw on those experiences to be able to do that, and I think that's fantastic.
Well, you have to be, again, I tell people I'm the living laboratory.
Right.
And there's not a whole lot more wacky people than me. So I'm the perfect person to do that. All teasing aside, that's the truth. And so if I'm willing to share my personal experience, and again, Alan and I happen to be the only married couple in the world that have played on all 4 major tours. There were others, but they're either dead or divorced. And, the PGA Tour, the LPGA Tour, the Champions Tour, and the Legends Tour, we've got over 25 major championships on our belt. So, I've said to these little kids that are going to play in U.S. kids golf tournaments and their father's yelling at them because they're choking their guts out, you know what? You need to shut up. Your child is not trying to miss a shot.
No.
This is very important that you know how to deal with this. So a couple of the kids the other day, they were going to, we're going to a tournament in 3 weeks. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. What do you think the winners are going to shoot? And the kid said, even par or under par. And I said, what's the best round you've ever had for 18 holes? 85. I said, okay. So do you have a chance to win the tournament? No. Are you comfortable with your swing right now? No. So I look at the father and I said, you told me you've got a $10,000 budget for these two to go play golf this year. I believe that you should save the $2 or $3 grand you're going to spend on this tournament, and we work on their games here.
Right.
So again, it's giving me the courage to speak the truth. You got to expose the elephants, and if you don't, there's going to be trouble. So, and I'm very passionate about it. Yeah,
and part of the problem, and you again raise another interesting point. One of the problems that a lot of the parents have out there is they're pushing their kids into this, tournament play sometimes too much, and the kids are not properly prepared for what they're going to face. They might have a great little swing, and little Johnny or little Sally can hit the ball pretty decently, but they're not really comfortable, and they're being thrust into this and pressured. And a lot of times it's just too much for youngsters to handle. And you're right. I think $2,000 or $3,000 that they might spend on this tournament would be better applied with some proper training and guidance, and help them to be able to handle those situations. Very quickly, I see that Jane's here. So very quickly, Cindy, you got some boot camps coming up. Let's remind the listeners when those boot camps are coming up and the dates and that.
Well, they're booked. They're all full. So stay tuned for more. There's one in February, one in April, and they're all full.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic. That's great. All right. Well, let's do this then. Let's bring Jane out because she's been very patiently waiting here. Jane, as I mentioned earlier in the show, of course, for those of you tuning in a little bit later, Jane Blalock is with us. Again, she's been with us a number of times. She's the president and CEO of the Legends Tour, and has the dubious honor and pleasure of not only being involved with really one of the best tours out there, but gets to hang around, if you will, with some of the best ladies who ever played this game. So let's bring her on, Cindy, and let's find what's happening this year on the Legends Tour.
Good morning, Jane. Happy New Year.
Hey, to you too, Cindy. It's going to be a great one.
Awesome.
Well, Happy New Year, Jane, as well, and we're glad to have you back on the show.
Well, it's my pleasure. It's always an honor to be invited to talk with you guys.
Well, thank you. Let's do the obvious thing, Jane. Let's start off with a little bit of what's new or what's coming new this year on the Legends Tour. Is there any new tournaments or sponsors that we have to look forward to this year?
Well, we're very close to signing a new one as of meetings last week, and I'll just spill a few of the beans. So let's say we've got a very good chance of going back to central Pennsylvania. You know, we were in Hershey for years, a very successful tournament, and so we're in conversations with the folks at Lebanon Country Club in the Lebanon area, which is 20 minutes from everything. You know, with the great success of the Women's U.S. Open in Lancaster, I started speaking with some of the, let's call it power brokers there, and one thing led to another, and there's just tremendous interest in bringing us back. So I think we should have something firmed up in the next 10 days.
Well, fantastic. Give us a little bit of give us a little bit of an overview of what the listeners can expect, and those that would like to follow what's going on in the tour. What are some of your events coming up here in the next couple of months?
Well, we're in just about a month now. We'll be kicking off the year in Phoenix area, Sun City West, with a Walgreens Charity Classic. Has a great field, and this is our fourth year back there. So we'll have 8,000 people watching us. So that's been a great market for us. And you mentioned new things. Then our next event in April, we have two events this year combined with the LPGA's Symetra Tour. And this is it's really an enjoyable format. Each one of the two events is slightly different, but really emphasizes the value of our players from their experience. You know, they're all winners. They're all, they're class acts, and a chance to play alongside some of the LPGA hopefuls is a pretty neat format. So we'll be in Fort Myers. The Patty Burke Classic with the Chicos is sponsoring that event alongside Symetra Tour. And then just a couple of weeks after that, we go up to the Greenwood, South Carolina area, and we actually have, we'll alternate tee times. There'll be, on the last day of the event, there'll be a Symetra Tour threesome and then a Legends Tour threesome. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and I think the value of that is we've really helped boost the attendance for the Symetra Tour. They're wonderful young players, and probably could certainly take my money in a side game, but we have all the names. So, for example, last year in our inaugural event in Fort Myers, the galleries went from, as the young women said, from 300 or 400, mostly friends and relatives, to 3,000-4,000. They said, "Wow, This is the first time we've felt like we're playing in a real tournament." So the LPGA Legends certainly bring a lot to the table.
That's awesome.
And there's some great great ladies that I remember growing up. Obviously Nancy Lopez and Julie Inkster and many of the others that are out there that I remember growing up and watching and just having a lot of respect. And now they're really able to not only to continue to play themselves, but to be able to help some of the, as you said, the LPGA hopefuls really understand what it's all about out on tour, what it's really like out on tour, and really how to show some class. And I can't think of any better group than those on the Legends Tour to do that.
Well, and you mentioned a few of those names, and what's great about the Legends Tour, we've got a great combination of kind of nostalgia, where you get, Nancy Lopez, Amy Alcott, Pat Bradley, Patty Sheehan, and now you've got some players. Well, it's Julie Inkster. She can play on any tour. She could, because she is so talented. Lisa Lott Neumann, Rosie Jones, Michelle McGann was a rookie last year. Yep. And everyone knows Michelle from her hats and belts and her flair for marketing. And Karen Koch, who was captain of the European Solheim Cup team, that of course lost to Julie by a very narrow margin this past year, will be joining us. So we've got, it's a combination of wonderful golf with all the names that everyone knows. And I didn't continue with the tournaments that will be upcoming this year. I mentioned a couple of the new ones. We'll be returning to the Wendy's up in the Jackson, Michigan area, and French Lick, which is a fantastic tournament for us, one of the greatest and toughest golf courses one could ever play. We'll be on the Pete Dye course there in August, and that's the Legends Championship. BJ's Wholesale Club, which is an East Coast chain. We this past year we raised over $2 million for charity in that BJ's tournament. So that says a lot. We're back with another Walgreens event at the Seagate Country Club in Delray Beach. And actually, we just finalized the date yesterday. It's going to be a Halloween event.
Wow.
We're going to have a Halloween theme and have some fun with that. So it's going to be the last weekend in October. And then we'll finish up the year with our Honda Cup, which is it's just a great event. It's akin to the Ryder Cup or the Solheim Cup, but it's a top LPGA legends, from the U.S. against those from around the world.
Right.
And you should have seen the galleries last year with Julie Inkster and Laura Davies going head to head.
Yeah, I remember seeing
so
some
exciting.
of the. Yeah, I remember seeing some of the photos up on Facebook after that last year, and it was obviously it had a lot of fun. I like the idea that you're bringing Halloween into this. I think that'd be a great addition to that event, and I think that's very interesting that you're doing that. Now, I want to also talk about the majors, and the reason why I want to bring that up is I know this year they had originally, if I'm not mistaken, when you were on before, that they were introducing the U.S. Senior Women's Open, but as I understand, that's moved to next year now. Is that correct?
They settled on 2018.
Okay.
Which we, it's mixed emotions. We're ecstatic that after all the years of trying to convince them that there should be a Women's Senior Open, they decided to go ahead. But then they stalled us until 2018. So, Cindy, we're going to have to stay in shape and keep our game up for another couple of years.
Aye. Let's go do some push-ups, right?
At least.
Now, Jane, have they settled on a venue yet? Where is it going to be held? And tell us a little bit more about. Obviously, most people are familiar with the U.S. Open in general, but tell us a little bit what's going to make this event special, other than the fact that it's going to be an inaugural event. But where is it going to be held? Where have they decided, or have they decided?
To my knowledge, they have not. They have not announced it. Just through some inside information, I know that they had a number of venues were vying to be the host, but that decision has not been made yet. But I can tell you, the Legends Tour, the age is 45.
Right.
For this Women's Senior Open, the age will be 50. It'll be 4 days of competition, as a real major championship. I'm sure there will be qualifying, but it's so important, the Legends Tour, because it will first it'll be televised. Fox is televising all of the all the USGA events. Hey, maybe we get rid of Inkster. Maybe she'll be doing TV instead of playing with us.
Yeah.
I doubt it, though. And it's just the prize money will be that hasn't been determined, but it has to be somewhat equitable with what the men are playing for. So it really puts us on the map and brings greater awareness to the Legends Tour. When
you look back, Jane, to when the Legends Tour first sort of came on the scene, when it really sort of was from start to where it is now, what are some of the most memorable things that you've seen coming along this journey and to where it is now? What are some things that really, wow, I'm glad that we were able to do that and through the growth? What are some of the most highlighted things that you can recall from this journey so far?
Well, I think there are three things. Our first tournament, I will never forget, Green Bay, Wisconsin, and the huge galleries, over 15,000 people a day, and it wasn't just the numbers, the ovations, the applause. I mean, it was goosebumps, and that's.
Are you there?
I'm not sure. No, she must have. Yeah, she dropped. Sorry, I don't know what happened to her.
Oh, wow.
But, right in midstream, we'll get when she calls back. I'll bring her right on. I guess. I guess her phone must have had an issue with it or something. But anyways, that's exciting. So I'll bring her on as soon as I see her come back in. But that's very exciting about the U.S. Senior Open, and I think she's right. You guys are going to have a tough. Julie Inkster's a feisty competitor, and I know she's going to be right up there. But I think I think everybody will have a chance. They're just going to have to work. You're going to have to work hard as you always do, Cindy, on your game. But I know you can do it.
Well, absolutely. I'm so amazed at Jane. Every time I speak to her, she absolutely does not give up.
No.
And so I think what I'm most proud of is the women in our generation have really been pioneers. And Jane, I mean, she has fought an uphill battle for the last 15 years, 16 now, to make this Legends Tour a viable option. And there's a burn in her. I mean, people ask me why I don't give up. I don't know why I don't give up. And she does not give up. But, I'm just shocked at her tenacity, her perseverance,
right,
and her never, never, ever give up attitude.
Right.
And it's great because there's two parts to this. The good news is the tour is starting to grow. The bad news is more people are turning 45. So
right.
I'm not going to be exempt to play anymore, which is sad for me. But on the other hand, this has to happen for the tour to grow.
Right. Let me bring Jane back on. I see she's joining us again. So let me bring Jane Blalock back on.
Okay.
Welcome back,
sorry,
Jane.
but some reason my phone went dead, and I had such poignant things to say.
Yep.
I think I was talking to dead air.
You.
Yeah, we were talking about you behind your back. Jane, go ahead and continue on. You were talking about the tournament in Wisconsin, the first tournament, and then we dropped it from there.
Right. I said there were really three things that kind of stick in my mind, and one of the huge crowds in Green Bay. Said over 15,000 people a day just cheering and screaming and just so appreciative of the fact we were all there, and overflow parking lot, front page of the newspaper. It was a big deal. So that was a pretty good launch for the Legends Tour. And then number two is very proud of the amount of money we raised for charities. I think that makes a huge statement. We've raised a lot more money for charity than we've played for. And I promise you, we're the only tour that can say that. So, and to see the lives that we've impacted, that just it gives you goosebumps. And third, it's the excitement of the players, the appreciation for the opportunity to play, and just their. These are women that I've certainly known for a long time and played alongside many of them, or have been involved in TV and watching them. And to see, the warmth and how responsive they are, the willingness to participate in all the, social activities with respect to the event. And I said, they all want to turn 45. We're the only place in the world where one said, I can't wait to get older.
That's
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Well, I said I just ran into Charlotta Thornstam at the PGA show. I was talking to our friends from Cutter and Buck who have been so good to us. And she comes up to me, hey, I'm 42. I'm getting my game in shape. So, I think those are the kind of, we've created that excitement. And I didn't know if anyone expected that we would. But now the players are not at all reluctant to admit their age. They just want to be out there and share in the camaraderie and chance to, continue their competitive game.
Jane, it raised an interesting sort of thought here, and we've heard, Cindy and I have had a number of the ladies from the Legends Tour come on the show here over the last couple of years, and there all seems to be sort of this resounding message that they're having a lot of fun, and a few of them have actually come right out and said, when they were playing on the regular LPGA Tour, that there was just a lot of additional pressure on them. They just felt like they had to perform, and they just didn't seem to really I mean, obviously they were passionate about playing, but they said they seem to have a whole different feeling when they come out on the Legends Tour. Do you hear a lot of that from the players?
I hear it, but you can see it.
Right.
Just it's so. I mean, anyone who comes to our tournaments has to spend time on the driving range when the players are getting ready. It's just it's hysterical. I mean, the humor. I mean, they're all warming up and trying to get the game ready, but the jokes, the bantering,
right.
It's very special. So it is. It's lighter, but believe me, once that first ball is in the air, it's just like the old days.
Right. Yeah, I'm not taking away that I'm sure there's much competition still. They are all competitors, of course, and but I think it's a little bit more relaxed. Would you agree than maybe what they've had to do in the past? It's just as I said, it's fun.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, it's incumbent upon me, but, we're looking at probably 9 events this year, hopefully 10. We need to get a few more tournaments, so the players will be more tournament ready, where when you play a tournament just every now and then, it's hard. It's difficult because you're not playing tournament golf is a whole different level from just going out and, shooting 70 with your friends.
Right.
So we'd love to get to 15 or 16 tournaments, and hoping that people out there paying attention to what we're saying now will say, "Wow, we could have these great LPGA legends in our community, or raise money for our charity."
Yeah, and that's you hit the nail right on the head earlier when you said that one of the 3 things that you really liked is the fact that all the great work that the ladies are doing through the different tournaments and through the events towards charity. Let's talk about a few of some of the more memorable. I mean, obviously all the charities are important, but there's obviously some that probably stick out in the mind. What are some of the charities that have benefited from all of the hard work that you guys are doing?
Well, one definitely stands out. I mean, the numbers with BJ's, their foundation, and they give to smaller charities that don't have the PR machine, the advertising machine. They give, thousands of $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 checks to those small community charities. But when we're in French Lick, we're in partnership with the Riley's Children's Hospital out of Indianapolis. And
right.
It's not just that they get checks. Many of the kids come down to the tournament, and we see our players interacting, with these kids who probably won't be living that much longer, who are, confined to wheelchairs, really have not much of a life, and to see the joy in the
right.
face of those kids. And then we have a couple of the let's call it the kids who have survived, and they get up in our dinners and talk about what they've gone through, the numerous operations, and the loss of hair. To hear these wonderful young men and young women talk about their stories. So there's a closeness that we have achieved with the Riley's Children's Hospital, and that probably stands out as much as more than anything else.
Absolutely. Ashton Brown, especially.
Oh, incredible story.
Right? She's just a great spokesperson.
And she's went through Hades and back.
Wow.
And
twice she had it. And now she's playing college golf at University of Indianapolis. So she's a great success story.
Yep, she plays in the Pro-Am, and believe me, she can flat hit it. I had to hit some balls with her, and I was embarrassed she hit it so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, and you are right, Jane, in what you say that especially on the Legends Tour, the ladies do just such a phenomenal job in bringing awareness to these different charities, and obviously they work hard at trying to raise funds for them and do different promotions for them in order to help them, help the people that they're in turn trying to work with, and it's just a great testament to the many great professionals that are out on the Legends Tour.
Yep.
And as we've said, Cindy and I both have said, and I know you've heard many times from Cindy, we're certainly very proud and honored to have you on this show because you do such phenomenal work, and we want to wish you much continued success, and we want to invite you back any time that you have some things to share, or even if you just want to come back and chat, we would love to have you back.
Well, thank you so much. I said it's always a pleasure speaking with you all.
All right, we know you have. Oh, one last thing I did want to ask, because you mentioned the PGA show, and you did make some stops. I know you were probably busy like Cindy was. Was there anything that caught your eye down at the show that either new this year or just something that really sort of resonated and say, hey, I like that? Was there anything special that stuck out to you this year?
Oh, there were. I love some of the clothes, but I did see the new Ping irons, and I can't wait to go. I've already set up a fitting when we're at the Walgreens event in Phoenix. So that definitely stood out in my mind. But the size and scope of that show was just is absolutely incredible.
It really is.
Well, fantastic.
Jane,
as
thank
always,
you so much for not giving up. I am just, every time I talk to you, I'm like, wow, this woman is on a mission, and I'm proud to call you my friend. So thank you so much for all that you've done for all of us and everyone in the golf industry. You're amazing.
Well, okay, thank you very much. I could talk to you guys anytime. Compliments like that. All right. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
What a great day to start the day, Jane, that's for sure.
Okay.
Again, thank you, Jane, and we look forward to having you back again.
Yep.
All right, bye-bye. Of course, that was our very special guest, Jane Blalock, the president and CEO of the Legends Tour, and she truly is. She's a joy to have on the show, and just does a great job and just keeping that tour at such a high level, and just looking to expand it. And I know she'll have no problems in doing that. Cindy, I wanted to give last few minutes here just to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit more about the Own Your Game Academy, but also we're going to be bringing some of that in probably the upcoming weeks. What's the update on that? When are we going to have that back on the show?
Would you like it to start next week? Because I'll be ready.
If you're going to be ready, I'm ready. That would be fantastic. We can certainly start it next week. And I believe we're having...
So the question that everyone needs to ask themselves is, why are they doing this? Why do they play? So that's the first thing we're going to start with. Why am I doing this? Is it for relaxation, for recreation and social aspects, for exercise, personal challenge, competition, or for business? You need to know your why. So that's just going to be a little bit of a tease. So next week we'll start the Own Your Game series, part 1, and we will also have Valerie Moore, an LPGA professional, on the second half of the show, and she will share with us all she does for junior golfers.
Perfect. Sounds like a great show. Cindy, in addition to all the wonderful things that Jane does, you as well do a lot of great things for this business, and it's a pleasure having you every week join me here on the Women of Golf show, and you bring a tremendous amount to it. And I thank you for all of the hard work that you do, and I'm looking forward to starting the Own Your Game series again next week. So make sure you join in. Next week, feel free to call in if you want. The number is 347-945-5855, and I'm going to make sure that we get something up through social media, as well as I know you will, Cindy, for the next week's show, so that people can participate. So make sure that you reach out to Cindy at cindymillergolf.com if you have any questions or comments about the show, or if you're somebody in the business and you're interested in coming on the show, you can also reach out to her there at Cindy at cindymillergolf.com. I'm Ted Odorico, and you're listening to the Women of Golf show with myself and, of course, LPGA professional Cindy Miller and our special guest, Jane Blalock. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. And Cindy, as always, it's a pleasure, and I look forward to next week.
Have a great week. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.